Well, hi guys, this is Trail Rider 570. Well, the unthinkable's happened. This is waiting on the servo horn, and I thought, well, I had another one I'd stick in there. And, well, we have an issue with it. Apparently, these have an issue with the radio becoming unbound from the receiver. If I turn this on, what you're gonna see, if you look in here, see it's blinking red. See it's blinking red in there. Well, that is, it's trying to connect with the radio. So if I see, nothing's happening. I throttle it, nothing's happening. The radio's on, everything. So what I have to do is I got to take the body off it, disconnect the shocks from the top, lift this off, and get into the receiver, because that's the easiest way to do it now. And get in the receiver. I got to reprogram the receiver to accept the radio in the truck. So that's what we're going to be doing. I wasn't planning on doing this, and actually I didn't even realize that was going to be an issue. Apparently this truck's like 3 years old, by the way. For the year of this truck, it's like a common thing. It seems to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to solve the problem. So we'll get with you in a few. I'm going to pull the top off it and have it all ready at that point. I don't know if I did an intro. I screwed up a little bit here, but anyway, I pulled the wheels off it, and I disconnected the shocks. See, the shocks aren't hooked up. Just be careful. Some of these shocks, can't even talk. This has aftermarket shocks on the front of it, so it's got these little dust O-rings that go on it. But anyway, what we got to do now is I've already pulled the battery out of it, and I pulled the wheels off it only because, you know, it's kind of a good idea, isn't it? I'm going to set one tire here. I'm going to take my other tire and put it on the back. That way, when we do the binding process, the axles aren't at the extreme. I mean the dry shafts. So we got to pull these 8 screws off, 4 on each side. Then at that point, the body or the cage area is ready to come off in the drivetrain. So get this off. I only got 7 more screws to go. Then we got to get into the receiver box. This is easier than disassembling everything. Be absolutely honest, if I'd been a little bit on the ball here when I built this thing, I would have probably done it this way too. But like I said in my original video, this is the first one of these I've seen. And I drove it. I have a video out there, 3 crashes. And it held up, but the problem is the servo's not holding up. And I went through 2 servo horns on it, and I looked at it. I thought, well, maybe I'm not doing something right when I'm installing a servo horn or whatever. And I've done enough of these that I can kind of know, if I'm not doing it right. And everything I've done checks out. So I guess that's the weak spot with this truck with these heavy axles and big tires. Because we've added almost I'm gonna say put near 2 pounds of weight to this truck. I'm gonna have to go on the other side here. Grab my kitchen chair for a few. We'll turn you a little bit. I got 4 screws here. We'll get them out and get this lifted off. What I've seen of how to do this, it's not that complicated. The hardest part is what we're doing right now, is disassembling the thing to get to the radio receiver, because it'd been nice if they'd put the receiver where it's more accessible. They have this nice fake fuel tank. They could have hid the receiver in there, you know. And we just pull 4 screws and we can get in there and get to the receiver. But it is what it is, I guess. If it was mine, I'd lengthen wires and I'd hide it in there, take it out of that bottom compartment. Okay, we got the screws out, and I'll come back over here now. I had to put my stuff in the center here only because this truck is so big. I'm going to turn you down a little bit. Okay, now at this point, if I've done right, we should be able to grab this. And I forgot 2 screws on the bottom here. And I knew better. There's 8, 9, 10 screws, and then the shocks. There we go. Now, in theory, the body should now come off. Let's see what happens here. Look at there. There it is. Take your leads out. I have to get blow the dust out of here. Okay, now we're gonna pull. I'll do that off camera. I'll bring my blowgun over here and blow the sand out of here. Gotta take this cover off, because underneath this cover is where the receiver's at. And then when I get to this point, get the cover off, I'm going to stop it for a minute so that I can fire up my air compressor. I want to blow the sand out of here before I go. I don't like no sand in the receiver. Before I pull it, I'm going to take the screws up, but I'll leave the cover on until I blow the sand off it. This is probably for me running it. Alright, be right back with you. Okay, just like that, we got the sand off it. Now I'll pull the cover off. Here's the receiver. And they said there's a button in here to push. Find out where it's at? Right there. Okay, this is the button right here. I'll kind of get my camera in there and show you. Sorry about the angles here. But see right there? I'm hitting it with my thing. You can hear it clicking. That's your bind button. So what we got to do now is I got to hold the button in, hold down on it, and turn the truck on, and then it should start flashing. Oh, may help. We got to get a power supply here. All right, there we go. Now we'll try that again. Hold the button in, turn it on. Okay, now it's flashing. We can see it flashing in there. You can see the flashing. Now we go to our radio. We hold the bind button in, turn the radio on. Now the radio's flashing. So now see there? No, I didn't do it right. Now we got to start all over. Turn everything off. Okay, now we're going to hold the button in again. Power it up. Now it's flashing. We hold our bind button in on the radio, which is on this radio, which is right here. We hold that button in, we turn it on. Then you can see that's flashing. Okay. See it's steering? Now we lost steering, lost it again. Start all over. Okay, now it's flashing. I'll hold my bind button in. Power it up. Full throttle forward, full throttle reverse. Oh, I know what we're doing wrong here. We gotta turn all these adjustments up. We gotta go back at this. I watched it from the YouTube video, so I'm learning as we go. And gotta turn everything up. Set your trims to center. Set your trims to center. We did. Hold the button down. Turn it on. Now it's flashing. Hold the bind button in on your radio in. Power it up. Just like that. Now let's see, the steering just did its thing. See now? See what's happening? Now we should be able to accelerate it. We got steering. Okay, we just lost it. This is becoming hard. Let me get off here and figure this out. Guys, you see the bench is empty, table's empty. The truck's sitting behind me, beside me. I've tried numerous times. I contacted the guy. Looks like we're gonna put a new radio system on it. They had trouble with this. It's all with the internet with these things. The radio's becoming unbound. And unfortunately, he's had it so long that I don't think Axial's going to do anything for him. So I messaged him, and most likely we're going to end up installing a new radio in the Ryth. So that's part of owning RC cars. Sometimes things happen, and not always in a good way. So, but anyway, I'm going to end the video here, and I'll start it back up when we get this thing figured out. So as always, this is Trail Rider 570 signing off. Say goodbye and God bless for now. And this will be we'll get back to this video when I get the parts. So bye bye for now. Welcome back. When I last left you, I couldn't get the bound, thought it was radio and everything else. Well, after watching numerous YouTube videos, I figured out what I was doing wrong. Whenever you bind this machine to the radio, you have to power it off, then power it back up. And I wasn't doing that. So now, if we turn radio on, we plug in, and I will go into more detail what I ended up doing. Oh, we got to plug our battery in here. They don't run on air. Okay. Okay, now I got steering, and I got reverse. I got it working. On the back here, whenever you bind these, right above, I'm sorry for the angle, but right above, you got your power button here, and this is a mode button. Hold that in for 5 seconds. That puts it back to factory settings. And you hold that and set it for 5 seconds. Then at that point, we have to come up here. I'm not going to mess with it again because I got it working. You basically, that area there, you push down, and that'll flash orange. See, it's a nice bright orange now. It's not flashing. That means it's working, and also the receiver's not flashing red. So that means we're bound. But when you do all that, you take your radio. I'm going to turn everything off so I don't screw with anything in here. When you do the bind, you hold that push that button in, and some guy says you got to hold this button in to power it. You don't have to. You can just push this button in. But when you bind it, at that point, you give it full throttle. That's why the wheels are off. It ain't going to run, but you give it full throttle, neutral position, then you go in reverse. And once that's done, you grab the steering wheel and it'll work. So then afterwards, you power the car off, you power the radio off. You power the radio back on, power the car on, and it'll work. And that's as simple as that. I've screwed around here because I was watching one guy on YouTube, and he said he's done this numerous times. Well, maybe it works for him, but this application, it absolutely did not work. So I ended up doing that procedure, and I'm going to put a link to the guy's YouTube channel because it was awesome the way he explained it and all that and went through it. He did it a little different. He pulled the box out of the car and left the chassis on, where this was actually for me to show you it was easier, and it's only a half dozen screws to take it off. But we did all that. Now everything is fine with it. So at this point in time, I'm going to piece it together. I'm going to take it for one final rip around here, then clean it up and get a hold of the guy and say, hey, I got it figured out. Don't need a radio right now, but if it does it again, he's going to have to buy a radio. So, and then we'll just, we live from it, right? So anyway, guys, this is Trail Rider 570 signing off, saying I hope this was helpful to everybody, because I learned today, and I'm just going to pass it on there. You got an instruction sheet. Your instruction sheet will tell you how to do this as well. Feel free to, if you got one. I didn't have an instruction sheet because this isn't my car. So the owner has it. So now I can message him back and say, we don't need a radio, just get a new servo horn, and you're all set to go. So that being said, this is a happy Trail Rider 570 signing off, saying, I hope this was helpful to you. And if you like more content like that, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and tell me, because I love doing it all. I love riding my Ranger. I love doing side-by-side repairs for people and doing how-to videos, as well as this is my original hobby was RC cars. So I'm getting back into that a little bit here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Yeah, I forgot to mention, when you're binding this thing on, you restart the thing, you turn the radio on the car on, let it set for 5 seconds, because the radio's got to talk to the receiver, and they got to talk back and forth to accept the bind. I forgot to mention that. So once you get it all bound, you shut it off, you turn the radio off, turn the radio on, always start the radio first, then turn the car on, let it set for 5 seconds or so, so that the transmitter can talk to the car, and then then that completes the binding process. That's the other thing I wasn't doing. So that being said, we're all done. I'm going to piece it together and get it ready. I've already messaged the guy that owns it, and we'll get it ready and piece together. I'm going to do one final, just a quick little test run here in my yard with it, and make sure it's all working, and it's out of here. On to bigger and better things. Bye-bye for now. It's Trail Rider 570 signing off, saying goodbye and God bless, and I'll see you in my next video.